The most dangerous morning habit for seniors. A life lost in 6 minutes. It was 6:47 in the morning. The house was quiet, the sun barely peeking through the curtains, and the smell of yesterday's coffee still lingered in the kitchen. He did what he did every day, rolled out of bed, stretched his back, shuffled toward the bathroom, turned the shower knob, and stepped in. It was part of the rhythm, the ritual of a life well lived and well earned. But on this morning, something small, maybe the temperature of the water, maybe the way his blood pressure dropped from standing up too fast, or maybe just a slip, changed everything. By 6:53 he was gone, 55 years old, still young by many standards, and yet gone. A fall, a faint, a silent heart event. We'll never fully know, but we know this: it happened fast, and it happened in the shower. That's not a horror story. It's not a scare tactic. It's reality, and it's one that's not talked about nearly enough. Because we all assume the dangers out there on the roads, in hospitals, in crime-filled news headlines. Not in the comfort of our own bathrooms, not while we're doing something we've done thousands of times, not while we're still humming our favorite tune under the stream of warm water. But for seniors, our parents, our grandparents, maybe even ourselves, that's where one of the greatest risks quietly lives, hidden in plain sight. The time of day you take your shower can mean the difference between a safe start and a sudden tragedy. And it's not about living in fear, it's about living in wisdom. You see, aging doesn't just sneak up on the body, it changes the rules. What was once safe at 30 may be dangerous at 70. What felt fine last year might feel different this year. But wisdom, the kind that keeps you breathing, keeps you steady, keeps you here, that comes from understanding those changes, not denying them. So no, this isn't a video about showers. It's about life, about survival, about paying attention. Because growing older doesn't mean growing weaker. It means growing smarter. It means living with eyes wide open. And it means listening, really listening, to the subtle signs your body gives you before something goes wrong. Stay with me. I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to show you what most people miss. And maybe, just maybe, save a life in the process. Number 1. Morning routines and hidden risks. Mornings carry a sense of promise, a fresh start, a new breath after the long stillness of night. For many seniors, it's when routines are most deeply rooted. Coffee brewed to the same strength, toast browned to the same degree, and a shower to rinse away the night's stillness. It's a ritual that's both comforting and automatic, but hidden within those peaceful rhythms is something few talk about. Morning can be the most dangerous time of day to take a shower. Let's look at why. When you wake up, your body is still transitioning from a state of rest. Blood pressure is lower. Your heart rate hasn't fully regulated. Your muscles haven't warmed up. Now combine that with the act of standing up quickly, walking to a tiled floor, stepping into a warm shower, and you've just thrown your body into a demanding physical transition. The heat dilates blood vessels, which can drop blood pressure even more. Your heart scrambles to adjust. For some, especially those with underlying health issues or medications that affect blood pressure, that's all it takes. A little dizziness, a misstep, a fall. And let's talk about the sudden shifts in temperature. Your body, cool from the night air, is met with a rush of steam and hot water. That jolt, something you might have shrugged off at 30, can be too much at 70. The blood vessels expand too quickly. You get lightheaded. Your vision swims, and if you're alone, no one's there to catch you. These aren't rare occurrences. They're common enough that hospitals and emergency rooms are filled with similar stories. And most of them start the same way. It was just a normal morning. That's the danger, the normality. We trust our routines so much that we stop questioning them. We stop adjusting. We stop paying attention. But wisdom is paying attention. It's knowing that our bodies evolve, and our routines have to evolve with them. Maybe that means waiting an hour after waking up before stepping into the shower. Maybe it means sitting down on the bed for a few moments before standing. Maybe it means investing in a non-slip mat or a grab bar. These are not signs of weakness. They're signs of awareness, of love, of wanting to be here tomorrow and the day after that. You've earned your routines. You've earned your mornings, but don't let habit become hazard. Respect the time of day your body is most vulnerable. That's not fear, it's foresight. And foresight, especially in these years of life, is everything. Number 2, the shower trap. Why the bathroom is the most dangerous room. You walk in, flip the light switch, and maybe don't even think twice. The bathroom, it's clean, familiar, harmless. It's where you brush your teeth, wash your face, and step into the shower without a second thought. But here's the truth that too many people only learn the hard way. The bathroom is the most dangerous room in the entire house. And the shower, it's the heart of that danger. Let that sink in. Not the stairs, not the kitchen with its sharp knives and hot stoves. The bathroom. Especially for older adults, this small, quiet space holds the greatest risk of injury. And sometimes, the final moments of a life. It's not hard to understand why once you look closely. Hard, slippery surfaces, water, steam, tight corners. A fall in the bathroom doesn't just mean a bruised knee. It often means a fractured hip, a cracked skull, or a serious head injury. There's no soft landing, nothing to cushion the impact. And in a space where people are most often alone, vulnerable, and undressed, response time is everything. And here's where it gets even more serious. Falls are the leading cause of fatal and non-fatal injuries among older adults. According to the CDC, each year, millions of seniors fall. 1 out of 5 of these falls causes a serious injury. The number one place where these falls occur, the bathroom. That warm stream of water, that little step into the tub. It can become a deadly trap without warning. The worst part, it's not always a big slip. Sometimes, all it takes is a slight loss of balance. Maybe you turned too fast. Maybe your leg gave out. Maybe the soap made the floor just a little slicker than usual. A moment becomes a spiral. A routine becomes a night. But there's something deeper going on too. Something psychological. Many people, especially those who've lived long lives, begin to underestimate the risks of familiar spaces. I've stepped into that shower for 30 years, never had a problem. That kind of thinking is dangerous, because familiarity can dull awareness. And awareness is what saves lives. Wisdom is recognizing that no matter how many times you've done something, the conditions around you and inside you change. Your muscles aren't what they used to be. Your reflexes aren't either. The body you trusted at 40 isn't the same at 70. That doesn't mean you're broken. It means you're changing. And change calls for adjustment. So let's reframe how we think about safety. Installing a grab bar in your shower, that's not just a senior thing, it's a wise thing. Using a non-slip mat, smart. Showering at a safer time of day, with someone in the house who can check on you. That's respect for yourself, for your body, for your life. Because here's the bottom line. The danger isn't the water, or the tile, or the soap. The real danger is ignoring what we know, brushing off what we feel, and assuming we're invincible. But you're not here today because you were invincible. You're here because you were resilient. And resilience means knowing when to slow down, when to adjust, and when to ask for help. That simple decision, the one to be cautious, to prepare, to stay sharp, can be the difference between a quiet morning and a life-altering moment. It's not paranoia, it's power. Number 3, the psychology of aging and overconfidence. There's a quiet trap that catches even the strongest among us. Not in the body, but in the mind. It's the belief that I'm still fine, That confidence isn't always loud. Sometimes it whispers. It's the little voice that says, "I've done this 1,000 times. I don't need help, I'm not like them." And while confidence has carried many people through hardship, overconfidence can become a hidden danger, especially as we age. Because here's the truth. The mind often stays sharper than the body. In your head, you're still capable. You remember the decades you carried children on your hip, lifted groceries without a second thought, climbed ladders, danced all night, and jogged before sunrise. You remember that strength, and remembering it makes it feel like it never left. But aging plays tricks. The changes are slow, subtle, and deceptive. Maybe your balance has shifted slightly. Maybe your legs tire faster. Maybe your blood pressure doesn't regulate as quickly. Maybe your heart skips a little beat when you stand too fast. And maybe, just maybe, you've noticed these things and ignored them. Because that voice of confidence keeps saying, "It's nothing. I'm still me." And you are still you. You're the same fighter, the same soul, the same spark. But you live in a body that's earned every year it's carried you through. And that body, like any machine, like any home, like any life, it needs new maintenance as time goes on. Denying that isn't strength. It's risk. Think about how many times we've heard stories that start with, "They were just going about their day." One moment of dizziness, one misstep in the shower, one underestimation of fatigue, and everything changes. It doesn't take a catastrophic health condition. It just takes a second of not listening to your body. And this is where wisdom comes in. Because wisdom isn't the same as intelligence, or experience, or willpower. Wisdom is awareness. It's knowing that the strongest thing you can do is adjust. That it's okay to trade pride for prevention. That it's smart to use a walking aid if you need one. To sit down in the shower, to ask for help, even if you never needed any of those things before. We grow up learning how to be independent, how to stand on our own 2 feet, how to carry our weight. But somewhere along the way, we forget that strength also lives in asking for support, in planning ahead, in saying, "Yes, my body is different now, and that's okay. I'll take care of it differently too." This isn't about giving up. It's about gearing up, about being so in tune with yourself that you recognize when your internal compass starts shifting, about being brave enough to say, "My health is more important than my pride." Because here's the irony. The people most likely to fall are often the ones who believe they're the least likely to fall. They're the ones who skip the small precautions. They're the ones who brush off the warning signs, not because they're reckless, but because they're remembering the past version of themselves and ignoring the current one. Let me be clear, there is no shame in needing new habits, no weakness in accepting your limits. In fact, that's where real power begins, when you stop fighting change and start flowing with it. So if you've been feeling a little off balance lately, or your shower makes you a bit dizzy, or you catch yourself holding onto walls more often than before, don't ignore it. That's your body talking to you. It's not complaining, it's communicating. And listening, that's not just smart, that's survival. Number 4, protecting your body, honoring your life. You've made it this far. Decades of living, learning, falling, rising, surviving. That's no small thing. Your body has carried you through it all. Births, breakups, first jobs, losses, victories, heartbreak, healing. It's weathered storms no one even saw. So when we talk about safety, we're not talking about fear. We're talking about honor. Honoring the body that's gotten you here and protecting it so it can keep going. Because protection isn't about bubble wrapping your life. It's about preserving your freedom, your independence, and your dignity. And that starts by paying attention to the little things, especially the ones people tend to overlook, like the exact moment you decide to step into the shower. Let's talk practical, but in a way that makes sense. It's not about turning your home into a hospital. It's about making a few wise choices that let you keep living with confidence. Start with time. Showering early in the morning, especially right after waking up, is one of the most common setups for injury. Your body is still transitioning from a state of rest. Blood pressure is low. Your muscles are stiff. Your balance isn't fully engaged. It's a perfect storm. So why not wait a little? Let your body wake up with you. Drink some water. Eat a light breakfast. Stretch. Let your system warm up before you throw it under hot water. Then, look at the space itself. Is your shower designed with your safety in mind, or does it rely on the assumption that you'll never lose balance? If the floor is slick, a simple non-slip mat can mean the difference between a quiet shower and an emergency room visit. A grab bar, that's not admitting defeat. That's declaring, I plan to be here for a while. You don't put seatbelts in a car because you're a bad driver. You put them in because you value your life. And let's not forget the simple addition of a shower chair. Maybe standing the whole time isn't as easy as it used to be. Maybe your energy dips halfway through. There's no shame in sitting. In fact, sitting during a shower can actually help regulate blood pressure, reduce the risk of fainting, and give you the peace of mind to focus on comfort, not survival. You've earned that kind of peace. There's also wisdom in timing. Don't shower when you're exhausted, or right after a long nap, or when you're feeling shaky from missing a meal. Your body gives you signals. If you've lived long enough to recognize them, then you've lived long enough to respect them. These aren't drastic changes. They're tiny adjustments, tiny acts of self-respect. Because the truth is, many of the accidents that happen later in life aren't the result of weakness. They're the result of habit, routine, underestimating the situation, overestimating the moment. But every change you make today adds up. Every precaution is a brick in the foundation of your continued freedom. And more than that, it's a message to the people around you, to your children, your grandchildren, that your life matters, that you value it enough to protect it, that even in these later chapters, you're still learning, still adapting, still choosing to live wisely, because your story's not over. There are still things to see, people to love, sunrises to catch, meals to share. There's still laughter waiting for you, still memories to make. So why risk it on a slippery tile? Take the extra second, add the safety feature, shift the routine. Not because you're fragile, but because you're worth protecting. Number 5, the gift of listening. What elders can teach us. There's something sacred about the stories that come from a life long lived. Not just the grand tales, the weddings, the wars, the road trips, but the quiet wisdom earned in everyday choices. The kind of knowledge that can't be Googled or rushed. And yet, in a world that often races ahead, we forget to pause and really listen to our elders. We forget that every wrinkle carries a lesson, that every scar hides a survival story, that sometimes the softest voices hold the strongest truths. Let's go back to that 55-year-old we talked about at the beginning. His death wasn't just a tragedy, it was a warning, a whisper from life itself saying, pay attention. It wasn't just about a shower, it was about awareness, timing, humility, and it was also about the silence that follows when we don't ask the questions that matter. What do you know that I don't? What do I still need to learn to keep myself safe? Elders carry a kind of wisdom that only time can give. The wisdom to say, slow down, the experience to know that rushing rarely ends well, the perspective to see danger in places younger people overlook. And if we don't listen, really listen, we miss out on all of that. But listening goes both ways, because as you age, the world might start to treat you like you're invisible, like your opinions don't carry weight anymore, like your voice is part of the background noise. And that can hurt. It can make you second-guess your instincts, make you think your experiences aren't valuable. But they are, and they might just save someone else's life. Think about how powerful it is when a grandparent tells a grandchild, "Take your time in the morning. Don't rush into the shower." When a parent says to an adult child, "Install a grab bar now," not when it's too late. That's not nagging, that's not overreacting. That's a legacy of protection. And for those of you who are younger, who still feel strong and agile, ask the older people in your life what they've learned about staying safe. Ask them what they wish they'd done sooner. Ask them how aging has changed their perspective. Then really listen to the answers, because in their words, there's often a blueprint, a way forward, a warning wrapped in love. We tend to glorify youth, speed, and independence. But there's something just as beautiful, more beautiful, in choosing wisdom over ego, in valuing safety over image, in saying, "I've made it this far and I'd like to keep going." That's not weakness. That's courage. That's love in its most practical form. And love doesn't always look like big gestures. Sometimes it's installing a handrail for your father, sitting in the hallway while your mom showers, picking up the phone to remind your grandparent not to rush out of bed. These are small acts, quiet acts, but they echo with care. So if you're an elder, speak. Don't hold your wisdom back. Your story may be the lifeline someone else needs. If you're younger, listen. Don't assume you already know, because real safety, real growth, comes from humility on both sides. In the end, it's not just about preventing a fall in the shower. It's about building a world where fewer people are caught off guard, where aging is respected, not ignored, where experience is valued, not dismissed, where wisdom isn't something we lose, it's something we pass on. And maybe, just maybe, we save a few lives in the process. Conclusion: wisdom is survival, and survival is love. So now we come full circle back to that quiet morning, back to the story that started this conversation. A 55-year-old man stepped into the shower just like he had every other day, and never stepped back out. His death didn't make national news. There was no headline beyond his local town, no viral video to warn the world. But his story is worth telling, not because it was dramatic, but because it was avoidable, and because it echoes the silent truth so many of us overlook. It's not just the big things that take people away, it's often the small ones we never saw coming. This whole time, we haven't really been talking about showers. We've been talking about life, about noticing what's been right in front of us all along, about how the smallest habits, when done with wisdom, can protect the most valuable thing we have. And what is wisdom? Really, it's not just knowledge. It's not just experience. Wisdom is the bridge between knowing and doing, between noticing a risk and making a change, between having a long life and living a full one. Wisdom is taking that extra minute to sit on the edge of the bed before you stand up. It's installing a grab bar, even if you never think you'll need it. It's choosing to shower at 9 a.m. instead of 6 a.m. because you understand your body needs that time to wake up safely. It's listening when your gut tells you to slow down, and honoring the fact that you've earned the right to take your time. And yes, wisdom is survival. But more than that, survival is love. Every action you take to protect yourself or someone you care about is an act of love. Quiet, powerful, intentional love. The kind that says, you matter. Your life matters. Your safety matters. I want you here not just today, but tomorrow, and the day after. So whether you're 55 or 85, whether you're living alone or surrounded by family, whether you feel strong or you've started to feel a bit unsure, this is your moment to lean into wisdom, to act on what you now know, to change something small and protect something big. Maybe today's the day you look at your bathroom differently. Maybe it's the day you call your mom or dad and ask them to rethink their morning routine. Maybe it's the day you finally stop ignoring that small voice inside that says take care. Because aging is not about decline. It's about refinement. It's about learning to live smarter, slower, safer. It's about doing what you've always done, taking care of others, and finally remembering to take care of yourself too. This isn't just a message for seniors. It's a message for everyone who wants to grow old with strength, with purpose, with clarity. Let today be the moment you choose wisdom. Not later, not next week. Now, your life is still yours. Protect it like it matters, because it does.